Okay, so basically, our menstrual cycle involves a lot of hormones which are naturally produced by our body, and it's all in a very controlled system in our body. And when we're taking steroids, which are usually present in food like either in milk or meat, वगैरह so if we're taking extra steroids from outside source, it's going to create an imbalance in our body. But there are naturally found steroids which are I don't know if you know about them, like estrogen, progesterone, and testosterone. These are the three basic hormones that control the menstrual cycle. And if steroids are taken, they're either in steroids like testosterone or testosterone basically involves in as a male hormone, and that's going to increase the cycle or either the basic thing that the issue is with the cycle is that it is controlled through progesterone, and what we're taking through food is either testosterone, etc. So it either reduces the cycle or increases the cycle. That is the main thing that is going on. And because a cycle gets irregular, and it leads to anovulation, which is when basically when ovaries release an egg and fertilization occurs. So it will lead to infertility in women, and that is the basic effect that steroids exogenous taken from outside will cause, will how affects the women's cycle. Yeah. Okay, so a lot of research is going on how these fertilizer or pesticides weaken the weaken the immune system, and there's honestly no real research that says that either it does or does not. If a person has issues like diabetes, they're already immunocompromised, or they have cancer, or anything that is related to the endocrine system. They're already immunocompromised. Fertilizer and pesticides have a lot of chemical compounds like organophosphorus, yeah, DTT, or a lot of metals like zinc and etc. So somehow they deposit on endocrine organs. Endocrine organs are they help, they are responsible for the immune system. So you can say the organs responsible for your immune system, they have basically these pesticides or fertilizer are deposited on those organs, and that might lead to a bit of immunocompromised situation. It might increase because if they're already immunocompromised, or already there are um, they're immunocompromised in a sense that their cells are not the cells like white blood cells, immune cells are not involved in helping in tackling with infections, etc. And if there's slow chronic ingestion of fertilizers including organophosphorus or DDT, is going to increase that whole inflammatory process, or the body is not even able to adjust to that. So it might, like I said, it might weaken their immune system further. But there are also some compounds which are found in fertilizers. I'm not exactly sure the name, but they actually cause a hyperimmune response. Somehow they act as foreign antigens, and the body's whole immune system acts against it. And sometimes, just like this coronavirus, I don't know if you heard, and virus maybe when it enters the body, the immunity of that person is so hyperactive that causes a whole inflammatory process in your body. So something exactly like that happens, in which a lot all of your immune cells become hyperactive, and it actually leads to a cytokine storm, which is basically which causes a lot of effects that are bad for your health. So this is a bit confusing. So it either can decrease your immunity or increase it to such an extent that it causes a whole cytokine storm, and your body goes into organ failure because itna zyada it's been working in overdrive that cannot um, process the cells are so the cells start attacking not even just the um, compounds and fertilizers, they'll also start attacking your own cells, your own organs. uh, yes, definitely. Like I said, steroids are prednisolone is also prednisolone is also very commonly present in food. Okay, now any steroid that you take in your body, it's going to increase the effect of steroids already in the body, and so it will cause increase in steroids in your body overall, in your blood. Okay, and that will lead to a lot of problems like high blood pressure and fluid retention, and again menstrual fluid retention in the sense that steroids tend to increase fluid in your blood and extra tissues, which will be which is bad for your kidneys. So again, kidney problems, then menstrual irregularities like we discussed. And well, increase in steroids also cause masculinization, which I don't which is basically means that in a woman it causes man like
And like
features like hair
hirsutism,
or
right? As an example.
hirsutism.
Yes.
Exactly, hirsutism and acne and and basically hair where you're not supposed to have in a female. Then again, steroids, like we discussed, leads to infertility. Uh, these are all for people who have nothing, like no health problems, and is actually creating health problems. So, इसी तरह. Even hypercholesterolemia is because of steroids. Steroids are present in समझे every they're involved in many processes in the body, and just like that it can cause a lot of problems leading. So when you're discussing steroids and food, you're thinking a very somebody is ingesting very small amount of steroid. You can not like heavy doses, so you don't see all these problems all at once. You see mostly you see just the little like fluid retention or maybe menstrual problems and hirsutism. That's it. All of the others like I listed, इसमें diabetes भी हो सकती है and heart diseases भी and kidney problems, liver problems. In that occurs basically when steroids are taken in large amounts, if something is so contaminated with steroids and you're taking that. But when you're ingesting food items with steroids, what छोटे छोटे symptoms आएंगे like I said, basically fluid retention or masculinization or acne or infertility. Okay.
And by infertility, you mean that one could have PCOS, right?
Okay,
Because
yes.
that's very common among girls.
Yes. PCOS is polycystic ovarian disease, and it basically इसमें what happens is ovaries develop cyst, and cyst is a vacuum of fluid, and ovaries are not performing their functions that they're supposed to perform. Uh, how steroids come in play in PCOS is a little complicated and long, but see research आई हुई है that uh, taking male hormones from outside source or taking steroids from outside source can aggravate already PCOS. So you have either a tendency to develop PCOS, or maybe genetically hai, yeah, already you have one or two cysts, which is very common and it is usually present. And so if you all in females who already have either a few cysts, can aggravate that and develop into a full-blown PCOS, which is a syndrome, and there you see infertility. Yes, infertility hoti hai usme. It is a very common symptom, and when you're treating a patient with PCOS, you're treating them as a whole, giving medicines and also telling them to avoid food like milk, meat, and stuff like that because they have hormones in them. Definitely, yes. Okay, fertilizers have a lot of things, a lot of chemicals. Some fertilizers are organic, you know that, right? In which you use manure or basically dead plants and stuff. And some fertilizers are for mass
Chemical
production
ones as well.
chemicals. Exactly. So when you're thinking about the chemical fertilizer, you're thinking a lot of chemical substances that can, um, in long term or if ingested in a lot of amount, yeah, are very toxic. It includes mercury, um, cadmium, maybe like zinc, a lot of metal compounds. Okay. Then a very common fertilizers used are organophosphorus ones, and those are basically very cheap and very commonly used. ये किस नाम से आती है, wheat pill के नाम से मिलती है. It's also it's basically sorry, it's a pesticide, not a fertilizer. And it's wheat pill is basically a pesticide, and it has organophosphorus compounds. And if one tablet is taken, it can actually lead to respiratory failure and death. Just ingesting one tablet of that one wheat pill is so concentrated in organophosphorus compounds that it can lead to respiratory failure and death. But um, um, so like I said, they have a lot of different things. अगर आप metal ions की बात करें, then slowly mercury deposit होता है in your organs, like your brain. They can cause CNS disturbances, visual disturbances, mental problems, psychosis. Mercury can deposit on your liver, or like just like on your heart, on your kidneys. इसी तरह any metal compound present in those like lead or cadmium will have some effect. A lot of them affect your eyes as well. Again, we are thinking ingesting fertilizer or fertilizer contaminated groundwater or food, and in that case, these are present in very less amount, and they're going to be ये जो सारे signs and symptoms है, we see them very late, like after ingesting, for example, that contaminated food or water for like 30 years, yeah, something like that, then you are able to see such features. But what I was talking about at pesticide wheat pill is an organophosphorus compound. It's like a medicine, छोटी सी गोली होती है, and if you ingest it, it has a lot of um, it's very toxic. That's all I think you should know. Then steroids. Steroids are totally different because steroids are naturally present in our human body, and we depend on it. If and they are produced in our organs, okay, and they control our entire body systems in some way. And in diseases where steroids are not produced, people die. So steroids are produced in our body, not naturally. So steroids are the extra layer, then they obviously they are also toxic, and they are causing other kinds of diseases like diabetes or hypertension or oh, definitely. Organic food is always preferred over chemically produced um, foods. Definitely, yes. I'm going to recommend them because उसमें कोई they're all naturally produced. इसमें कोई किस तरह से chemicals नहीं use करते, fertilizers नहीं use करते. Because sometimes when you're using fertilizers or pesticides, you're not just contaminating the food, you're contaminating the soil and the water, and then water is contaminated by people living around that area, farmland. So it's a very um, it's not a very good thing. But again, you organic is only for those people who can actually afford it. It's expensive because it's slow, it grows slowly, and it's always produced in not less amount. So if you want a mass production, you probably need fertilizers. So I always recommend using organic food, but always obviously people who can afford it can use it. Yeah.